Hey, it's Margaret with Margaret's Way Yoga. Today we're going to be opening up our hips, specifically our hip flexors. If you find yourself sitting down a lot during the day, perhaps at a computer or at your desk, and you've noticed that the crease in your hips is really tight and tense, then this class is going to be great for you, so please join me. To get started today, we are going to start in child's pose. So take your knees nice and wide, bring the toes together, and then come down onto your elbows or your forearms and let your head rest on the floor or on the backs of your hands. Take some deep breaths here. Notice where your hips are creasing. Notice how that feels in your body. Notice if there's tightness or tension there. And see if you can settle back into the hips even more. We're going to stay in child's pose for 3 nice long breaths. When you're ready, float on up to tabletop. Taking your hands in front of you and your knees directly underneath those hips. Find a nice strong belly and a flat back. And extend your left arm forward and your right leg back. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, see if you can reach behind you with your left hand and grab your right foot. We're going to hang out here for a few long breaths. And as you stay and balance, see if you can lift your hand and foot a little bit higher. Another option here is to use a belt or a strap if you can't reach your foot, or maybe just keeping your hand on the floor and bending that knee and just kind of straightening and bending a few times if that's unavailable to you. Okay, release. Come on out. And we're going to reach that left arm up nice and high and thread the needle. Take your shoulder to the floor and your head. I like to interlace my fingers together and gently pull and push down. You can take one foot on top of the other behind you. Let's unwind and come on back up to tabletop. Uncross the ankles. All right, let's do that on the other side. So this time we balance on the left hand and right leg. Right arm reaches forward, left leg back for 3, 2, 1. And then we do our best. See if you can catch that foot. If you can't, just practice straightening and bending that leg a few times. Lift your belly button up high, lift the hand and foot higher and higher as you balance and find more stability here. And then we'll release and let go. Release and let go. And come back to tabletop. Let's reach our right arm up. Exhale, thread the needle. This time we take our left hand and interlace it into the right and cross one ankle on top of the other. We'll hold for one more long breath. Unwind, unfurl, reach that hand back up, come back to tabletop. We're going to do side plank next. Kick your right foot back behind you and extend your left leg long. Keep your right hand planted and then reach your left arm up nice and high for side plank. We're going to hold this for 3 breaths. One more. Okay, back to tabletop. Let's do the other side. So the left leg kicks back behind us, right leg lengthens, and then our right arm reaches up while the left hand supports for 2. One more big breath in and out, back to tabletop. Nice, let's take a big downward facing dog, enjoying this deep stretch down the backs of the legs. Let the head be heavy. Press your shoulders towards your ankles. We'll hold for one more breath. Nice. From here, bring the toes together. Lift your left heel high for 3-legged dog, and then step your left foot forward. We're going to drop our back right knee for low lunge. Sink into those hips. You can come onto the fists. Another nice side. And you might want to walk your right knee back a little bit to open up that hip flexor. Melt your hips, melt your heart. From here, we'll curl our toes under, head on back to downward facing dog. Toes to touch. Right heel lifts this time, step it forward, drop the back left knee, sink for low lunge. Melt the hips, melt the heart. Curl the toes under to come on out, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, slowly lower, hit the deck. Inhale, lift your heart nice and high. And child's pose. Take a breather. Maybe the knees come together. Rest your head on the floor or your hands. And let's take 3 breaths. Let's make our way back to downward facing dog. Step forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward folds. Let your head be heavy. Maybe wrap your arms around your legs. Shake your head yes and no. And we'll slowly rise. Slight bend in the knees. Shoulders lift up, and then our heart lifts. Our palms open up, and we lift our chin. Steady standing. Take a big breath in, and a big breath out. Let's hug our right knee up and in. Catch your balance, give it a squeeze. And then we're going to catch our foot behind us with our right hand. Take a pause, just balancing here. You can take your hand to your hip. Really stretching our quad a little bit more than the hip flexor in this posture. We'll take it down and try our other leg standing on the right. Lift the left knee up. And then I like to catch my foot while my knee is up here and drop that knee down once I have a steady clasp on that foot. We'll stay for 2 big breaths. Gently come on down. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Big breath in and out. Inhale, high plank pose. Exhale, slowly lower, hit the deck. All right, we're gonna find a comfy position on our belly. Hands move towards the feet. We can kind of wiggle the hips from side to side. Bend both knees and drop your feet from left to right. Massaging our low back and belly a little bit. Take your other cheek to the floor for a few breaths. And then we'll relax our legs down to the floor. Come onto your elbows for Sphinx pose. Elbows pressed down, forearms are parallel, and really engage your legs. Engage the thighs, the knees, the tops of the feet. Draw your chin in towards the throat to lift the crown of your head, and ideally our belly is going to be settled on the floor. We should be able to feel our belly press into the floor on an inhale, and then lift up away from the floor on an exhale. Once you find your comfy spot, take a big breath in and out. And then take your left arm so that it's parallel with the front edge of your mat. Bend your right knee, and we're gonna reach behind with our right hand to grab the foot. Press the foot down as much as you can. Not only are we stretching our quad and hip flexor a bit, but our shoulder as well. Let's hold for 3 more breaths. Exhale, release. Come back to Sphinx pose. Recenter yourself. And we'll do the other side. So the right arm kind of acts like a kickstand. We bend the left knee, reach behind with our left arm to grab it, and then settle both hips back down to the earth. Gently rotate yourself to face the floor and keep pressing on that foot. We'll hold for 3 more breaths. Exhale, release. Back to Sphinx pose. And then we'll come all the way down onto our belly. Once again, hands move towards the feet. Let the floor support you. Taking some big breaths in and out. We're going to make our way back up to tabletop. Find a tabletop and wiggle your hips around a few times. Slide forward and back. Make circles one way and the other way. And we're going to do one more set of downward facing dogs. We're just going to add pigeon to this class today. Such an awesome hip opener. So pedal those feet out in downward facing dog a few times, and then find a nice strong downward facing dog. Lift your left heel high and then hug it in. Come all the way down onto that hip. Walk that right knee back. Make sure that leg is in a straight line. Settle your hips. Big breath in, and then exhale. Take it all the way down, dropping your head. We're going to hold this for 5 long breaths. And then slowly lift yourself back up. This is where we can get a really added bonus stretch here, really opening up the right hip flexor. You can stay here, pushing the floor away from you for a few breaths. And we can also experiment with bending this right knee and seeing if we can grab the foot. And there's a deeper expression of this posture. If you're able to get there, you can take the foot inside the elbow and then maybe even reach your left arm up and grab hands, which I cannot do, at least not today. Sometimes I'm able to get there, but always remembering not to push yourself more than you should. This is the full expression of the posture that we call pigeon pose. It's Eka Pada Raja Kapotasana. All right, gently release. Let's take a really nice and gentle child's pose to settle our low back. Knees together, let out a sigh. And back to downward facing dog. We'll do that on our other leg. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Hug your right knee in this time. Walk that left foot back. Press the floor away from you. And then fold forward. We're going to hold for 5 long breaths. Very slowly lift yourself up away from the floor. And we can either stay here, pushing the floor away from us with our fingertips, enjoying that really big stretch at the front of your hip. Or we can practice bending that knee and then reaching behind us with our left hand to see if we can grab it. And just finding your balance here, seeing what feels good. Some of us may be able to work that foot into the elbow crease, reach up and behind. Maybe not. Just seeing what's available to you. You can get lazy with it and sit down on your right hip and just see what it feels like to pull that foot towards you. We'll take one more big breath here and then exhale, release. Let's take a nice gentle child's pose with our knees together, dropping our head. And we'll hold this for 5 long breaths before we make our last posture. 5, 3, 2, 1. Let's sit down with our legs in front of us. I just want to really stretch out the backs of our legs to seal this practice in. Root down through both seat bones, lift your heart, pull your legs back. Legs straight, pull your toes back. So we're flexing our feet. And then reach your arms up on an inhale. Exhale, fold forward, reach for the feet and grab wherever you can grab. You might end up latching on to your ankles or your shins. And let's hold this for 5 long breaths. Intense stretch of the western body or the back body, also known as Paschimottanasana. One more big breath in and out. Exhale, release. Slowly rise. Lift your chin last. Pause here for a moment. And let's find a seated, cross-legged position with our hands in our lap, settling through our seat bones, drawing our shoulders down the back, broadening our collarbones, lifting our heart space, lifting the crown of our head. And let's close class with a few moments of relaxing, breathing, and meditation. Sending your mind down a positive pathway, useful thoughts. Thanking yourself for taking the time out of your day today to practice a little bit of yoga, engage in some TLC. Finally bringing our hands to prayer to seal our practice in and bowing our heads in gratitude. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.